What's crackling, everybody? Welcome back once again to the definitive cereal tier list, where each episode we take a cereal, put it on the tier list so you know how good it is. I'm your host, Tucker, and this episode we're going to be doing the breakfast of champions, Wheaties. Now, growing up, this was one of those cereals where it seemed very healthy, so I had very little interest in it. I guess that means I wasn't a champion, but that's not too shocking. So I'm not really sure where this is going to end up. My initial thought is kind of CD range because that's where a lot of just plain grain cereals sort of end up. But I don't know. Maybe because it's the breakfast of champions, that means it's real good and we'll shoot above there. Guess we'll find out. So let's open it up. Check this thing out. Oh, it's flakes. I don't think I've ever actually seen these before. I was thinking more like a frosted mini wheat looking thing. This is flakes. That's fun. And smells sort of like wheat. Shows how little I was exposed to these by the fact that I had no idea what it looked like. But also, I blame the box for that. Like, we got LeBron James on there. But that's not what this piece looks like. Okay. So let's check this out. Sort of giving me Special K vibes. Just the look. Let's see what the taste is like. Okay, that's not bad. Taste-wise, it sort of reminds me of the pieces that are in Raisin Bran. I guess the bran part of that. So, it's alright. Obviously not my favorite flake we've done, but it's not too bad. This is actually not tasting as plain, I think, as I was expecting. Like, the main flavor is still just the wheat, but it seems like a bit different than just plain wheat, if that sort of makes sense. Like, the second ingredient is sugar, so maybe that's just what it is. It tastes a bit more wheat and sugar-y than I thought. But, yeah, it's totally fine. It still reminds me a lot of the Raisin Bran pieces. That's sort of the main memory that's occurring to me while I eat this. But yeah, it's a little better than I was worried it might be. Now that these pieces have pretty much soggified, the milk taste is becoming a bit more present in the spoon. Like, for a normal spoonful of cereal, the milk is obviously there, and if it's, got a mix going on, it's a bit present, but normally not really a dominant part of the flavor. For these now that the pieces have absorbed a bunch of the milk, you can taste it a bit more, which is kind of weird. It's not necessarily good or bad, it's just doesn't happen a lot. But now that I've brought that up, let's try how just the milk is on its own. Yeah, tastes like milk. Kind of saw that coming from the experience with the spoonfuls, but yeah, not really too different from just a normal cup of milk. So that's that, I guess. The breakfast of champions, I don't think is the champion of breakfast, but I don't think it's the loser of breakfast either. I'm going back and forth on where I want to place this one between a C and a D, because looking at some of the other sort of base flavor cereals, in the D you have Corn Flakes, Cheerios, just normal Rice Krispies, and I think this does stand on its own a bit better than those. But then looking in the C, you have like the Crispix that we just did, or Corn Chex or the multigrain Cheerios. And I think I prefer all of those a bit more than this. So it's kind of like right in the middle of them. And I'm not sure what that really means for my placement. Oh, and I forgot also in the D is the original just base Special K, and that's what visually this made me think of at the beginning. So it's another sort of comparison of, oh, was it that much better than this? So more confusion for me of where to put this. Okay, so I think what I'm gonna do is give Wheaties a D, a very high D, and I think depending on the day, I could have given it a low C instead. It was that back and forth, like even up to the moment I said it out loud. But I think if it had just maybe kept the crunch a bit longer or not gotten overtaken by just the milk flavor towards the end, I think that might have helped push it over. But again, it's so right on the line that I could have a bowl of this tomorrow and change my mind to be like, oh, maybe it's a C instead. But as it is now, I don't know if it's that much better than something like, as I remembered late there, the original flavor Special K. Like I stand by definitely better than like plain cornflakes and Cheerios and stuff. But yeah, it's like right on that line in a way that I've said that a few times, but this feels even more so than those other times. Though I do have to give it props for not being what I expected. I guess both visually and from sort of a taste standpoint, that it wasn't just sort of plain wheat flavor. I enjoyed the taste they had going here a bit more than if it had been that. And I guess also shout out because it's got lots of vitamins and minerals and stuff. So I'm assuming that's why it's the Breakfast of Champions. So good job for having all that and not being just super bland. Now that I've said all that, I almost want to move it to a C just for subverting my expectations so much. But for now, I'm going to hold with very high on the line D. If you enjoyed this video, be sure to like and subscribe, and in the comments below, post your general thoughts. Let me know if you've had any fun experience with Wheaties, tried in the past, felt like a champion when you've had it in the morning. But I think importantly for this one, I will say, because it is so on the line, if you feel strongly it should be a C or a D, let me know. If enough people think this is worthy of a C, I think that could budge me over the line. So if you think C or D, be sure to comment that as well, and maybe this will be the first time that we've had almost like a voting happen for a cereal. But until next time, stay delicious.